Listen to your preferred news feeds with Odiogo.com.
Will the media admit that the BNP has been right all along? For decades, the British media has attacked and slandered the British National Party for warning that mass immigration was a danger to the continued existence of British society. The BNP was called all sorts of names and slandered in the pages of the press and on TV. Fictitious and made-up criminal charges were leveled against BNP leaders in an attempt to railroad them into jail. Personal smears and physical attacks were encouraged and even applauded in the media. But now, even the media has been forced to accept that the thing for which they pilloried and slandered the BNP so much, has come to be reality. An article in The Spectator, reproduced in the Mail on Sunday, confirms everything about mass immigration which the BNP, and the BNP alone, has been warning. According to the Mail, the influx of the past 10 years has been the largest in Britain's history, changing the country forever. Immigrants now make up a ninth of our population, produce a fifth of our babies and fill or create most of our new jobs. The migration boom started long before those who govern us realized what was happening. In recent months The Spectator magazine has been assembling pieces of the statistical jigsaw to reveal the picture not only of immigration in Britain, but of the problems that the newcomers, through their industry, have inadvertently helped to cover up. Take, for example, the Prime Minister's mantra-like boast that he has created 3 million new jobs. The Statistics Commission discloses that 68% of this increase can be attributed to immigrants. These new jobs were filled, but not by Britons. Even this figure includes pensioners returning to work. Narrow the field to working-age people, and immigrants account for 82% of the job increases. According to Office for National Statistics information obtained by The Spectator, there were only 300,000 more UK-born working-aged people in employment in June 2007 than there were in June 1997, a tenth of Mr. Brown's oft-repeated figure. And there is yet another layer to peel back, the Prime Minister's substantial expansion of the public sector at huge expense. Strip away the growth of the state as employer, and the number of UK-born employed in the private sector actually fell over the decade, from 18.1 million in June 1997 to 18.0 million in June 2007, according to the ONS Labour Force Survey. The corollary is that shockingly little progress has been made with the great mass of homegrown British unemployed. Official figures provided to The Spectator show that there were 5.1 million people on out-of-work benefits when Labour took office. As of last February, that figure had fallen by just 867,000, not much to show for what Mr. Brown likes to describe as the longest period of uninterrupted economic growth in a century. It was Ken Livingstone who once complained that in all the time he was mayor he had never been served a cup of coffee by a Londoner. The capital is, as the current mayor says, a world city, and Rome to the empire of the globalist world. A full third of its citizens are immigrants, a greater proportion even than in New York City. But the grim fact remains that there are still 700,000 Londoners on benefits. Mr. Livingstone's cup of coffee conundrum illustrates perfectly Mr. Brown's failure to match the country's unemployed to the country's vacancies. So perhaps it was guilt which led Mr. Brown to adopt his curious and mercifully short-lived slogan, "British jobs for British workers," given that the Prime Minister, a demon for statistical knowledge, would have known perfectly well that this motto is the precise opposite of what has happened. The truth is that foreign workers have taken most of the new British jobs. Much less attention is paid to a trend which, in truth, is no less striking, the number of British workers seeking foreign jobs. The quiet path out of Britain starts with the queues to the various emigration fairs popping up around the country, where the governments of Canada and Australia set out their stalls to lure Brits with the right skills. One company is preparing for an exhibition at Aintree Racecourse in Liverpool next month with the slogan, "Over 200,000 skilled workers and professionals turned their backs on the UK and left for good last year to start a new life abroad." It is all true. Government figures this week showed in the year 2005 to 2006 that 75,000 white British men and women moved out of the country, but the population still rose because of an influx of ethnic minority groups. The Home Office argues that, through their tax and spending, immigrants contribute £2.5 billion more in taxes than they cost in public services. Professor Robert Rothen of Cambridge University has shown how this utterly changes depending on what's included in the calculation. Add the full costs of those services to which they are entitled: NHS treatment, schooling, welfare etc., and immigration incurs a £5.6 billion loss. One of the few times I have seen David Cameron lost for words was when Eileen McCloy, a Glaswegian mother who had come down to London to hear him talk, asked him what he could do to help her husband, a joiner, who had been put out of work by Polish competitors who worked for £6 an hour. Mr. Cameron told her about his plan for an Australian points-based system to bring order to immigration, but admitted that, under European Union law, this would not apply to Poles. He had no answer for her. When the general election is finally called, Mr. Cameron will meet many more people like Mrs. McCloy on the campaign trail. At the back of Mr. Cameron's mind will be the fear that the immigration debate, which Westminster has had on mute for years, may soon start blaring. Indeed, now that the first chinks in the media's assault on the BNP's political position have appeared, we look forward to their final admission that the BNP was right all along.